provinces are weary of my death. Symbolized by a cannibal, pollinating headspace. Racist conflicting ethics coincide in this method of society. I rule my domain through savage poetry. Few students follow. Live time, dreams tomorrow. Respect all music. Follow your dreams while in your teens. Kings oblivious by the envious.
So good to talk to you. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day, I'm sure. How have you been?
To you, brother. Yeah, it's been. I'm a little bit tired at the moment. We're working on my wife's show at Circuit Theatre in a couple of weeks, called Daughter. She's working on her theatre piece, and we've been assisting her, and so we've been mixing and shooting music videos and editing, all that type of stuff for her show in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it sounds exciting. That's cool. I have to check it out. Yeah. It's called Daughter?
Yeah, it's Daughter. It's in Wellington, though.
In Wellington. That's why I won't see it. I barely get out of my apartment, let alone out of Auckland.
Yep, I understand, Marty. I understand.
Yeah, anyway. Well, so there's a show that you're taking part in called Breaks and Brass, which is based around the 90s hip-hop scene, which I have to say, to be perfectly honest, I'm very unfamiliar with. I got here kind of in the middle of that, but I was taking quite a bit of time to acclimate myself to the thing, but I am kind of aware of stuff that was going on. But maybe you can, for folks who are a bit younger than both of us, what was going on in the 90s in the hip hop scene in New Zealand?
In the 90s, it was not many of us. It's still sort of, there are a lot more of us now, but it's still a bit there. We need a little bit more cohesion within the, any community. Yeah. And as music, the hip hop scene is still part of the record industry. There's a lot of things that are within the record industry, they're still broken.
Yeah.
And we still need, opportunities for any artists from back in the 90s all the way till now to still get their music out. And, it's, as an artist myself, it's still very difficult for our music to get on any radio station. So, it hasn't changed much from then to now. There's just a little bit more support, but we need a little bit more. But in the 90s, that was the golden era of hip hop for me.
Right.
All the music coming over from the States, some of the best artists. I think now it's, hip hop music has changed a little bit, but the 90s was that time where I was like, I feel good. The music makes me feel good. It had that warm type of mixing feeling. And about the skills as an MC, as a rapper, the lyrical skills were, incredible. Now it's a bit ABC-ish, but back then there was a little bit more, skills involved.
Right.
And, but, it's that music for me that makes me feel good because, I've got youngins, and now I've figured out that all the youngins listen to that 90s hip hop and R&B. So it's a great thing.
Right. And I mean, I remember coming here from the States and being amazed that there was even a hip hop scene in New Zealand, since it's so far away, and trying to figure out how one thing related to the other. And obviously it does, and it did. So maybe when you first heard it, what connected with you about it?
Well, I was 8 years old, and it was a very long time ago, at least 40 years ago. And I was breakdancing. So I was a young kid at Island Bay School in Wellington, and I heard this music. I mean, my brother was a DJ, so he brought home records. But as a youngster, when hip hop got me, it was when I heard the music and we were watching music videos, and breakdancing had just hit in New Zealand. And so I started to try to spin on my back, try to, do hand spins and all of those type of things. And as a youngster, it was something that brought our small little breaking community at Island Bay School together. So it was dope. It was, we could do it with other friends, and it was exciting. It was brand new. It was fresh.
Right. So when you started making this and thinking, well, this is something I could do, and you tried to enter the music business, as it were, what kind of reactions did you get initially?
Initially, so the first song I released was a song called Gifted and a song called So Much Soul. I was in a group called Gifted and Brown. It was on the legendary movie, Kiwi Aotearoa movie called Once Were Warriors.
Yes. And well, that was my introduction to New Zealand culture when I moved here.
Ooh, okay.
Like, whoa.
Yes, which is crazy because that's a lot of people's reality.
Yeah.
You know, and so I go, okay, cool. It's a very, very open look into how we live here in Aotearoa in the South Pacific.
Right.
But it was truthful as well. I thought it was a great story, well shot.
Yep.
And so I had to remix the song to get it onto that movie. And so that was my first try at producing a track.
Right.
So it was quite that whole process going through it. But you know, we did good. That song went worldwide, and
Yeah.
and the movie did well.
Yep. Now, if I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there seemed to be some discussion about accents and whether it was appropriate to use an American accent when rapping, or if you had to stick with a Kiwi thing or whatever. Now it seems odd and kind of irrelevant, but back then it was a thing, wasn't it?
It was quite a huge thing because we had to find our own niche or our own place in the hip hop culture.
Right.
And the hardest thing for us, I think, that all we had when we were younger was American rap music. We didn't have much New Zealand Kiwi music to listen to, so we didn't have a point of reference to be able to go, okay, we should sound like this. Even Australians had touring over there for the last 25 years, they had a big, massive issue with sounding dingo, mate, in a meat pie and, you know, that type, and a can of Coke, that type of stuff. But I was a advocate for Kiwi hip hop, but at the same time, there was so few of us MCs, rappers, that we had to go, I'm just happy you're rapping, mate. But if you can, you know, rap about stuff that is relevant to us. Don't rap about gats and guns and, you know, and that type of stuff when we don't have that here. So I was always a big advocate for, with my music videos, being able to push what we have here in the South Pacific. So I've had a music video on a farm, riding a tractor, me and my brother Shay with some sheep, you know, just like Kiwi stuff. You know, big up to Michael Jones and the late Peter Fatialofa. They jumped on our music video. But also I went home to Samoa. I was born here in Aotearoa, but I went home to Samoa to shoot 2 music videos, and I've shot 2 music videos in Rarotonga. So basically, because I'm a director, editor type of thing as well, just to be able to give the visuals of what we look like here in Aotearoa to the world. We've got heaps of stuff coming from New York and LA, all that type of visuals and sounds. But I was like, no, hold up. We're from here. We can take what was born in the Bronx, New York, but then adapt it to our own South Pacific style. So I've always been a big advocate for just, promoting that South Pacific sound and look.
I mean, that's the way music works. You are influenced. It's the same thing happened in the States when the Beatles happened. Suddenly they were singing in British accents. When the Beatles, they were trying to emulate, rhythm and blues artists that they heard, and it goes all over the world like that. So, I mean, it's not a unique thing at all, but it seemed like people were like making it a big deal here.
It was, I think that's the one thing that I would say is that, if any rapper right now, talk about your own surroundings.
Yeah.
But also I'm a big fan of being able to take your listener to past what you see. Like, I'd like to visualize something in my brain and explain something interstellar, out of orbit, and then explain to you. So you're like going, oh, this guy is thinking outside of where he's from, but also on a universal, wider type of language type. So you understand, because I've been writing raps for, like 35 years. I've been writing raps for 35 years. So, what I rapped about when I was 13 should be totally different, or, but also along the way, as a rapper, you start picking up other skills, directing, editing, clothing, all those type of things. So, it becomes a bigger conversation.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Shay Fu. He's taking part in the show as well, right? I just saw him the other day. He was at a show that I went to a couple of days ago. So it's good to see him out and about and doing his thing. So, and you got Ria Hall. And you got
Ria Hall.
Tell me about the show itself and how much do you know about it, and where are you at with it?
What I'm looking forward to is that there's going to be a 14-piece brass section.
Yeah.
And with that 14-piece brass section, I've never played with a 14-piece brass section before. A lot of the other artists, MC Tali just performed with the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra. But I've never done that with, that type of setting. Shay's played with the Wellington Symphony Orchestra. So what I'm looking forward to is the big sound of those tracks that we love, with incredible MCs, Ruby Doo, MC Tali, myself, Ria Hall, Shay Fu. We're some of the best dudes in the country that do it, but we're also rocking the R&B and the hip hop vibes.
Right.
And Aotearoa is very reggae, sort of, other type of music at this particular moment. But we can go back in time and represent that particular time and essence of the culture of hip hop and R&B for the 90s.
Yeah. So you're going to be, in addition to your own music, I assume you're going to be kind of picking and choosing some of your favorites from back then. Is that right?
Yes, we will be covering some of our favorites, and also we'll be singing a couple of our own, maybe one or two of our own tunes.
Right.
But we've got other 3 backing vocalists. We've got the incredible band that's the Levites. They are the band that does all the music and the bass playing and the guitar playing and the drumming for most places. But also, just can I shout out to Dixon Nacy? Dixon Nacy is one of the organizers of the event, but he is one of my favorite guitar players in
fantastic.
the whole of New Zealand. He
Yes,
is the man. I call him master. Like when you say in Samoan's term, master, this guy is a master.
Yep. Now he's been up here at the studio, played a few times. He's fantastic. He's a beautiful human being.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what song are you looking forward to covering in the show?
I'm looking forward to covering, personally myself, my particular one is Hits from the Bong. So, I'm a big fan of Cypress Hill.
Right.
And, and Cypress Hill has been one of my favorite groups since they've started. I was a youngster when it was hitting too. Being able to get up and perform those particular tunes, Hits from the Bong, and maybe a bit of Insane in the Membrane. I'm looking forward to taking on another character, which is great. I mean, it will be in my style, but also I can actually take on the character of Mr. Be Real from Cypress Hill as well.
Very cool. I do remember seeing them at the Big Day Out once or twice. It was full on.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So the show is happening in August at the town hall. I assume rehearsals and things are built. Have you done anything yet, or are you still kind of in the formative stages of that?
We're still, we will be, we haven't had rehearsals yet, but we've all got our tracks which we're singing.
Right.
It will be on Saturday the 7th at the August, in August at the Auckland Town Hall. The tickets are on sale.
Yep.
And they really are available at Ticketmaster.
Cool.
So I think, it's going to be dope. I mean, hasn't been done before.
Yep.
And you've got some of the best, musicians in the country.
Yep.
Doing what they do. And it will be an amazing spectacle. There's also a dance crew that's on. It's going to be, a live extravaganza of hip hop and R&B. And some of these songs that we're singing is being the best R&B songs from the 90s ever.
Yeah. Very cool. I can't wait. All right. It's cool. All right. Excellent. Well, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of fun just doing it and even practicing and rehearsing, and it's going to be a good time, especially with the folks you got together. So
yeah, of course. I mean, we do a lot of shows, my friend, and this is one of the shows that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you for telling me all about it, and our viewers, listeners, whatever they are. And we'll see you, Marty. We'll see you on August 7th.
We'll see you on August 7th. Cheers.
Bye-bye.